Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Blemished. My name is Frances Cantu, and this is my channel Wife Stuff. And here on this series, I share with y'all my blemished life in hopes that you see that we serve an unblemished God. Alrighty y'all, I am so excited for this episode. I am above and beyond excited for this episode because this episode is in collaboration with a very good friend of mine, a real in-life personal friend of mine. I actually go to her house. She comes to mine. We are actual friends in real life. She is a podcaster though. She doesn't have a YouTube channel. She has a podcast, and her podcast is called Finally Letting Go Podcast. And her name is Alma. She is just such a blessing, y'all. She is such an encouragement to me, and she daily has shared so many things with me that have literally blessed my soul. She is definitely fit for the kingdom. She is definitely in tune with what God is putting down. She gets it. If y'all could do me a huge favor and go and listen to her podcast, she actually posted her episode this morning, so when you're seeing this, it'll be at nighttime. Give her some love, share some love. She also has an Instagram account called Finally Letting Go Podcast, so let her know over there that you enjoyed her episode and just give her some love, y'all. Okay, so today's episode is about laziness, right? But I want to give a little bit of context, and I want to give some story time and all of that so that you understand where I'm coming from, and that I'm not just coming for people. I'm not just being this tyrant that is just trying to kill somebody with my words and all of that. Honestly, at the end of the day, this is just me. This series is just me sharing my life. This isn't about anybody in particular. I'm not coming for Christians. I'm not, that's not what this series is about. This is about me sharing my life from a Christian perspective, sharing what God is walking me through, has walked me through. Basically, me sharing my testimony and what God is doing in my life and stuff like that. If you feel like I'm attacking you or if I'm coming for you, please don't feel like that, because that's not what this is about. This is just me sharing in hopes to encourage somebody else. And if you feel conviction or anything like that from anything that I'm sharing, then that is between you and the Lord. That's not my intention or anything like that. This is just, again, me sharing my life. Last year was very rough on me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was literally the worst year of my life. I just realized how much God had been walking me through. And honestly, sometimes I feel like you have to go through the drought in order to appreciate the rain. And this year, it's all about the rain, and I'm appreciating every drop of it. And I'm just looking back and realizing that I had to go. No, I didn't have to. A lot of my struggles were my own. I won't sit here and lie to you, but not for nothing. Basically, it's to share and to, encourage others. One of the areas that I struggled with last year was laziness. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a lazy person, because I'm not. In general, I'm not a lazy person. I became lazy. I became apathetic. I became just lazy in spirit and truth. And I became almost, in a sense, lazy in heart. My way of thinking became lazy. My way of thinking became discontent, and just, I wanted more. I wanted to be praised for the things that I was doing around the house. I am speaking about laziness as a homemaker and a wife and a mom. So if you didn't catch that, I wanted to be praised, and I wanted to be looked upon like I was worthy of all of these things, and that I deserve to have lazy days, and I deserve to, be treated like a queen. My heart was not right, and that wasn't the way that I should have been thinking. My mindset was just totally and completely off. I was idolizing laziness, in a sense, more than I was idolizing the Lord, and more than I was me wanting to serve Him and serve my family. I was worried more about me and not about what He called me to do. The thing about laziness is this: it is a sin, and some people don't realize that or know that, but it is a sin. God Himself worked. He works. He's daily working in our lives. He doesn't, he is God, so he doesn't need to rest. But even when he was in the beginning in creation, he worked for 6 days and then rested on the seventh, not because he was tired, because it was for us. So he shows us that we do need to work and then we can rest. But we aren't supposed to just be resting and not working. There is a proverb that says basically this, that a sluggard is basically a fool, that we are to be workers with our hands, and that the sluggard will just not even lift his hand to his face to eat, that we sit with our arms crossed, not wanting to work. And that was never more true than what was happening last year for me. I was sitting on the couch just basking in my own pity, basically. I was just like, nobody cares about me. I don't get to just sit down. I have to do all this and that. I have to do dishes. I have to do this. Nobody sees me. But the thing of it is, at the end of the day, God sees me, and God saw me then. He met me right there, and he's meeting me now. Y'all, let me just let y'all in on a little secret. The enemy is crafty. The enemy will use things to distract us and keep us in this state of just self-doubt and self-pity and just looking at God like he's wrong, enemy is right, and he is a deceiver. And one of the ways that he was deceiving me was through social media. Here I was already feeling like, oh my goodness, woe is me, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then I get on social media and I see all of these moms who are in their PJs all day, who are getting to sit on the couch, and their husbands are, doing all the house cleaning and doing all the work. I was just so intrigued by that. I was so embittered toward my own husband because he doesn't come home and do that. I'm sitting here and look at her husband. She's getting to just sit down and watch TV and, all of these things. And I am just so embarrassed that I could have ever thought like that. That is just so disgraceful, and I'm just appalled by my thought process in all of that. But that is what this series is about, and God is bringing me through. He's, delivering me from these things. Yes, I was literally thinking like that. I was literally thinking like, oh my goodness, my husband, like, he's just not even a good husband. Like, he doesn't help me out. He doesn't do all of these things. I have to say, I wasn't even worried about me. I was so focused on looking at him and what my kids weren't doing and what all of these other people were getting, that I wasn't looking at me. I wasn't inwardly looking at what God was trying to teach me, and that he was trying to tell me, like, you're lazy. You're not willing to work. You're not willing to sacrifice. You're not doing any of the things that I have called you to do. That is the danger of social media sometimes. Like, there is a lot of good. There is a lot of beneficial things, but not all things are beneficial, right? Some things we look at and we think that this is encouraging to somebody else. Like, so I'm in this weird camp, right? To where I appreciate the women who are sharing their lives, and they are being real and honest, and they are showing their homes, and they're not perfect and pristine all of the time. I'm not saying that if you're not keeping your house at 100% that you're a lazy person, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is, but we're putting off a persona almost, or this weird thing of it's okay to live like that. It's okay to be that kind of person. And God says it's not. I didn't grow up in a home that was dirty. My mom was very much a worker at home. She was very much not a lazy person. Still to this day, she is not a lazy person. She gets up, she cleans, she cooks, she does things. I'm almost ashamed to say this, that how could I be raised like that and then have this heart of, I don't want to do this? As wives and moms and homemakers, that we, don't deserve grace. I'm not saying that. At what point does grace become laziness, right? At what point did I have to sit back and say, like, I'm just taking advantage of the gift that God has given me, because that's what was happening. My home was in chaos and disruption, and instead of me looking to myself and looking to what God was trying to teach me, I was looking to everyone else. I was looking to social media to confirm what God said was a sin. I was looking to social media to affirm my feelings on this situation. I wasn't looking to God's word. I wasn't looking to him in prayer. I wasn't doing any of those things. I was just sitting over here throwing myself a pity party. The enemy and the world have been robbing stay-at-home moms and homemakers for years, trying to rob us of our joy. When did serving your family become almost like a bad thing? We as homemakers are looked down upon. Like, why are you cooking for your husband? Why are you doing his laundry? The feminist movement has literally torn the role that God has designed for us apart. There is nothing wrong with the wife who wants to take care of her husband. I praise those wives who show that they cooked a meal, because guess what? God put them in that role. That is the role that God set before them, and they are doing it and doing it well. You should never feel ashamed to share the fact that you have a family. You have this house that you have to clean, that you have a husband that you get to serve. We should never feel ashamed for that, because God has called us to that role. God has called me to serve my family and not to be lazy and not to be apathetic in the work that he has given me, but he has entrusted me with this gift, and I should carry it out to the fullest. We definitely have to be on guard. We definitely have to put on the full armor of God. Even as a homemaker, there is just so much that the enemy is trying to distract us with and rid us of our joy in. And that's just not fair. It's not right. And I just wanted to share this because I know that there are so many women out there that are homemakers that feel like they're unseen, and they feel like nobody cares what I do around here. But you know, at the end of the day, God cares. God gave us this gift and he gave us this role, and he cares about it. He is in it. He is there. He is seeing all of the things that we're doing. But another thing is, I don't think that I was doing things with the right heart. So there's a difference between doing something, but if your heart's not in it, and if you're doing it out of obligation and you're doing it as a chore, God sees that too. So he saw my heart when I was complaining about doing dishes. He saw my heart when I was frustrated that I have to clean and woe is me. He saw me sitting on my couch just scrolling through Instagram and seeing all of these women getting to do all of these things and me feeling discontent. I am definitely not perfect in any of the areas that I will speak on or have spoken about. I have definitely shown here that I struggle. I still struggle with these things. I'm not saying that every day I wake up with a joyous heart that, yay, I get to, wipe butts and take care of kids and do dishes, but I do. I, for too long, had let the enemy rob me of that, and the world belittle the job and the task that God had given me, and I am taking that back. I am saying no. I'm changing my mind and my heart in that, and I'm letting God be glorified in the things that I do. Doing housework isn't always fun, but doing it to the glory of God makes it worth it. Doing things that are hard and doing things that are sacrificial are noticed by the Lord Almighty. I'm just here sharing my life and in hopes to encourage you that you're not alone. Don't ever feel like you're alone. Don't even feel like you're alone in the thoughts of, I can't even tell anybody that I just thought about that. Know that behind every thought process that we have, God is listening. God is there. He hasn't forsaken you. He hasn't left you, and he hasn't left me for sure. I am definitely his work in progress. The thing that I wanted to be taken away from this more than anything was that the enemy is crafty. that he is lurking at every corner, waiting for us to just give him a little hint of what he could come in and distract us with. And laziness is a big problem. It is a very big problem in our society. It's a very big problem in the social media world. Just in general, it is just a big problem. It's one that is praised. It is something that is glorified and made to look like it is a gift from God, that you get to sit down and do nothing. But God calls us to a higher purpose. He calls us to do the work with our hands. As a Titus 2 woman, he calls you to teach the older or the younger women how to be diligent in your homes. So don't neglect that. Don't forsake that, because God's truth is more important, and our role in our homes as homemakers are really important. All right, y'all, that is going to be it for this episode, but please don't forget to go and check out my friend Alma. She is just such a blessing, and she is going to come with it. I just know it. So y'all go and check her out. Thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, God bless y'all, and go and be a light out there.